The story that I always think about is of him working on the Saturday morning, him shovelling coal at Spencer Street, finishing his shift, walking down, stopping off with his work colleagues for a couple of pots at Young and Jackson's, and then on to the MCG where he'd collect the 3 votes. I always liked that. You know, he was not only doing his work, maintaining a living, sharing that moment with his mates at work, and then off to the game in front of the crowd and to do his business. So Ivor had 2 children, a son and a daughter, and his son was Kevin, my dad, and the grandchildren's father. And so Dad, you know, spoke about the spirit which he played the game, that he was very fair, sort of unassuming. He wasn't a braggart. He didn't talk a lot about his achievements, but also the fact that he went about it the right way, that he carried himself the right way. You know, he'd play in the ruck, he'd play in the centre. I think he's named in the team of the century at centre half forward, even though he probably didn't play there as much. Centre half back regularly. There are stories, I think, playing on Gordon Coventry at fullback and having stones thrown at him by the Collingwood supporters because he was doing such a good job quelling him then, which probably says something about Collingwood supporters too. But, you know, that versatility, you know, he was the first, as far as I'm aware, the first true utility. I actually have a memory growing up. My aunt used to keep a box with some of his artefacts and papers in it, including some handwritten notes on how to play the game, and this would have been in the 1950s when he was a journalist as well as the chairman of selectors, I think. And he spoke about the importance of kicking left foot, handballing left hand, your vision, changing the direction of play. So he's clearly, you know, he was clearly a very modern player back in those days. But he didn't actually have a huge career. He achieved an amazing amount in a short period of time. But also I have to say, it's not just the Brownlows. You know, as we learnt about him and his skill as a footballer, it was also about his war service, for instance. You know, going at the age of 17 to World War I when he was too young. He went with his 2 elder brothers, there were 4 of them. The 2 elder brothers didn't come home, he was the only one of the 3 to come back. Enlisting again World War II when he was too old, that he had that sense of service to the country. So he was really part of that definitive period of the making of Australia, and he was one of many, many, many Australians who contributed. And then layered on top of that has been sort of the wonder of the regard that he's held for the way he played the game of footy and the sort of fellow that he was. Every time I come to the MCG, I pinch myself. I mean, to go into the members and there's the bronze door, the big bronze statue, and there he is in action, you know, on the run about to kick the ball. You know, that'll never end. He was such a great player over such a long period of time, but not only that, that when he performed well, the team performed well. You know, that was a successful period through them. There were premierships involved. And so it wasn't just about being the best player in a struggling team, it was about contributing to greater success. And I think that's what came through in the stories that Dad said as well, that his skill and his ability, clearly that he was the best player of his generation, but that the way he carried himself was in a fair and sporting manner as well. The mystery of the Brownlows, if anyone out there's got any ideas, please let us know. I've never seen them. We've never known where they are to this day. You know, for all we know, they're in a box at the bottom of someone's shed or underneath a house. We don't know.